Season 28?
28.
28 ESEA main for Intact. A little bit of a roster shift from last season, moving into main this season and doing very well so far. 16-3 in their first game. We'll see if they can carry that momentum into their second game as they move into One Trick Ponies.
One Trick Ponies also won their first match of the season, so both these teams are 1-1 right now. The power matching will begin after teams have played their first 4, and we start scheduling based on the previous records in the season.
Kind of the Swiss system type matching, power matching, if you will.
A little bit. And, yeah, so this, I have no idea the full range of calibers of teams that are in main. But speaking of calibers, Turismo, I don't know what caliber a USP is, but he found a man through smoke. And
I couldn't tell you. I'm not a gun guy.
Yeah, I know. Sadly, I know less about them than I probably should, living in #America. Anyway, Intact do have a kit and smoke for the retake. Bomb not even quite down yet, and Noxio making sure that it's just not going to go down, period. Turismo switching to the Glock, maybe for that extra ammo, I don't quite know. But
I think it's Turismo.
Turismo?
I think that they gave me a pronunciation guide. Give me a shout out if it isn't. I didn't show you. It's my fault.
Well, he's in the game, so he can't correct us now.
Yeah, no, I'm saying if anybody else knows, like Taco, Mike, or somebody like
Gran
that.
Turismo, yeah.
Turismo.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, we say Turismo. It's like an accent thing. I think maybe a Utah thing. You guys, remember Gran Turismo? Turismo. That was one of the best car games, guys. But he is F1ing on these men with his pistol, getting a couple of kills. Great presence of mind. I think it was from him shooting toward the vent as they tried to run that fast nade to vent strategy. Crusher, he's going to pull out. Fast swing onto Optimus, but Turismo picking up 2, Shake picking up 2 as well, and the final kill goes to him. 3 kills on the round with the FAMAS. That's going to put them up in the 2-0 advantage. Pretty easy round to clean up for Intact, but it's important that they don't get swerved on by those CZs.
I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with the nightmare scenario you can see in your head when that first P250 comes around the corner and gets an opening kill, and you're like, oh, they're just going to flood, and then Intact clean it up. But you could all see it. You could all see it, yeah. Playing from the Raptors, and Swan carrying the scout over into round 3 here. Already gets himself a headshot and a tag. Actually, that was through the box because that player has no armor.
Swan does get the second as well. Turismo helping him out, and Shake picking up, actually only 1, and Turismo picking up another 3K. Look at the, okay, I'm just spaghetti. Look at the kill differential here. 6-1 for Turismo. He's looking really clean. 4-0 for Shake.
Early days yet. These anti-eco frags don't mean as much as they possibly could.
But lots of money for their team. CT side, very important. First gun round coming in. That was a very strange sound. I heard it too in our headphones. Don't know what that was.
It's in our headphones.
Or
somebody outside is hammering on something.
Yeah, very strange.
Outside of my house. Anyway.
Sorry if you guys hear that. It's very, very obnoxious. But first gun round, Intact choosing to stay on a lot of their eco weapons. A couple of UMPs, a FAMAS still as well. Their money is going to be looking very good. Even if they lose this round, they'll be able to buy again into the next. Red Killer coming around the corner, finding 1 kill on Swan, who tries to op around the corner. That's 2. Quick headshots for him. See if he can find a 3rd. No, that's Optimus cleaning up the trade. And now it's Sergeant Hash finding Optimus. Shake chimes in as well, but Bomb is going to be going down. 3 versus 1 advantage to One Trick Ponies. See if Shake can find himself anything, but it looks like he's just moving into the save position.
Yeah, this latest iteration of Nuke, we did see a kill through that new gap in the vents that exists now. On A site, we are going to see that little panel that lays between the 2 silos, preventing vision through the site from Mini. It's metal, so I don't know how spammable it is. I would assume decent with the op and kind of poor with the rifles. Haven't seen a video or evidence to back that up yet, though.
Here's the other thing I haven't seen is the vent change on
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't played on the map since it went live. Literally, okay, we queue ESEA almost every single night, and we have Nuke active, and we haven't even hit it yet since the change went live.
Chris and I actually got to play it a little while back, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
I actually really like it. What do you? I liked it in my head. What do you think about it?
I absolutely like all the changes they're making down there. I think the map plays a lot better now. I think it's a lot more. It's more fair for both sides down there, especially removing Toxic. I think is a great thing. Now you just kind of have to check that sneaky spot in the corner, and you're good to go. One Trick Ponies, though, picking up that first gun round. Will start them off. Intact didn't rebuy almost anything, though, because they had some pretty clean anti-eco rounds. So full rifles coming off of them as everything just slows down here. Yeah,
as I mentioned in the previous round, the money was looking really clean. They're going to be in trouble if they lose this round, but look at the spread. Look at the patience from One Trick Ponies. They're looking for anything, looking for any aggression, but Intact isn't giving them excuse me, anything to work with. Nice slow defense here.
That's the opening contact, though, and the bomb is dropped by Optimus. Can he get a second? The answer is yes. I don't know if they will see another player coming in through the hut, and the outside flank that had been slowly developing throughout the round comes in with Shake backstabbing players that were trying to deal with the ramp push. That is just a collapse into a black hole singularity for Intact that cleans them up. A round resetting One Trick Ponies, who I don't think will rebuy.
The timings were so good from Intact. I mean, the outside push was perfectly on time, recognizing that One Trick hadn't pushed anybody out there, really kind of working the angles, and it really works out for them. Everybody peaks at the same time on Intact. The communication was there. Trades were perfect, and cleans up the round with quite a few players alive. You're going to see that on the money, and Swan and Optimus going to find a couple more, but Red Killer chiming in huge with the CZ, and Stevie K is going to peek in with the P250 as well. Intact collapsing, 2 versus 2 scenario. One Trick Pony surely can't pull this out with only a CZ left to work with.
He does have the bomb. He has an M4, he has armor, and 53 health. And the location of Noxio, but Noxio finds the head first. Red Killer falls. Not bad. Not bad. Intact starting off very clean on the CT app, recovering from that first loss in the gun round.
Good kills coming in for One Trick. Took a lot of guns away from Intact. They're going to have to rebuy a lot of rifles, and that's going to put them in a dire situation if they are to lose a round. They're really holding in there if they're able to find a couple of rounds in a row. I mean, literally one round win from One Trick Ponies at this point will put them on eco at any point if they continue to find this many kills. Like, if you see the kill spread, it's like 2 players alive almost every round. But it's important as a T-side player, even if you're going to lose the round, to pick up as many kills as possible. That isn't an encouragement to bait your teammates, by the way.
No.
But do pick up if you do find yourself last alive in the round. Don't just give up the round. Try to pick up as much as you can, because every bit of economic damage counts. You know, 3K for a rifle is a huge rebuy.
It's huge, especially that 3,100 cost of the M4A4, which Noxio is quite skilled with, as he has just demonstrated. Onto Gabagool's dome by the ramp position. Yeah, it seems like One Trick, I mean, they do have rifles in this round. It seems a little strange they just gave up a frag, not trading and not trying to push the player who killed him at all. And
look at this positioning on A site from Intact. Yeah. 3 players playing great crossfires. That's what we're looking for. Crusher is going to be first entry, finding Noxio as they move into the B site. That's going to be through ramp.
Better late than never. Life Crusher is down to the control room by Turismo.
Auto director, please.
Fantastic positioning now. The Lurk left up there, only gets 1, which I don't think will be enough. Red Killer last alive, and he is cornered in this new back box put on the site. He does pick up 1, though, and he knows the positioning of the last. This is cat and mouse as it gets. Red Killer peeks, finds a couple bullets onto Optimus to clean up the round. Excellent job by him getting a second gun round for One Trick Ponies. Now the deal is going to be to change it, and exactly what you talked about, Savage. Look at the money on Intact, because they have not had very many players survive on all these rounds they won. They are looking grim.
Here's the Force, which I actually agree with. They're going to put their money back down to 0. You see an M4 coming out, a Scout. They can actually do a huge amount of damage, if not win the round, as long as their positioning shines here on Nuke. You'll see them taking a little bit of sneaky positions. Yeah, look at this one-way. How dirty is this? Look at all the intel. And he's going to actually not find any players, but is going to find himself a good amount of damage and a lot of information. 3 players on One Trick, down to sub 30 health.
And the Scout is going to be so effective against low HP players. Just easy tags, bringing them down. This is going to be a hard round for One Trick Ponies to close out. 2 people on 1 bullet.
Noxio is the huge player to watch here. He's found himself a sneaky position. He almost sprays down 2. Doesn't quite get it. Gabba able to trade out Optimus. Sergeant realizing where Noxio is playing from. And the 1 versus 3. He does pick up 1 scout shot. Doesn't find the low player. That's disappointing. He could have found himself in a much better scenario if he hit either one of those low players. Would have been a kill on the scout. And Intact back on really bad money. The double save. They'll be able to buy next round as long as they full save these USPs. But looks like One Trick is going to find themselves 5 versus 4. A good start on the half for Nuke. On the T side half of Nuke, I should say, for them.
Certainly is. Yeah, that CZ in the last round really needed to get a couple more kills. Damage is great, but only 2 of those players were converted after that. And none
the
of
one-way
the
was
players. Actually
so dirty.
So who threw that smoke? Because if
I think it was a CT player.
It had to be a T smoke, man. Because
really?
like, think about it. If a CT threw that, or a T threw that, if a CT threw that smoke, then the Ts would expect
know.
something is up.
Yeah, yeah.
And you could see his head in the corner, but it's just such a weird angle that you never think about that.
Quick B-site control here for One Trick. Intact only on Eco. Not going to be a big deal for them. They realized that the site is pretty much lost. They had a little bit of a stack on the A site, those same positions that we saw on the hut.
You're going for primarily exit kills here, I believe. Try and save an AK in the next round. Start building some bank, saving some money. They do find 2 kills, and that's an AK, but not quite ready for Stevie to be just around the corner lurking on the stairs. So Shake falls, as you said, 4-5 for One Trick. 1 TP, 1 teleport.
One Trick Ponies. See, it looks like they have a little bit more than one trick. They've been splitting a few different sides so far.
Yeah, but I'm super excited to get into the meat of this game in the gun rounds. And to really see what happens on the gun versus gun rounds and the T sides execute. And it looks like right now we are going to be seeing fast A, Gabagool straight onto the head of Turismo. They still have to deal with a player on top of the hut, and Optimus is only good for 1 from that position. Life Crusher in the meantime chimes in outside, and Shake does kill 1 more, but when all the chips are down on the table, it looks like they're stacked up against Intact here. Having almost no control over the A side, it's going to be Optimus Noxio rather, going up in heaven, and Shake from Mini. I mean, Noxio could go huge here. They definitely are going to be watching this position, but if he gets 1 opening frag, gets down on the floor, he could really throw a spanner in the works, to use a phrase from our British compatriots.
Looks like they're moving into safe positions. Move out toward garage. It's a very difficult retake onto A site from those positions.
Save.
Yeah, Intact's positioning, especially for the A site, they had really good positions if they would have run what they were running the past like 3 rounds for that. If they would have run somebody behind Squeaky Door, 2 up on hut, it would have been a much better position. They were actually looked like they had been reading something toward A for a few rounds there, but their positioning was just a little bit off that time. They weren't able to establish the right crossfires on A site, really put them in bad positions, and the change of pace from One Trick was a really good idea there. Whoever called a faster pace play, it really caught Intact off guard. Their positioning was completely off on A site.
Yeah, the mini player just absolutely caught off by Gabagool. He's able to just make a clean entry. Those online F1 peaks right onto the head I believe it was Turismo.
Yeah, with a Galil nonetheless.
Yeah. It's lethal. I don't know if that player had head armor, but that's a great spray from Noxio, transferring onto the second head as well. He is only good for 2, does a smidgen of damage to light pressure. And the pistols are out to play. I don't think Swan can hope for much with 8 health, and I mean, they did damage. They got some kill reward, but ultimately it's going to be back to another gun round for them. I really do like that save because it didn't really cost them very much. They got pretty close to taking a round out of it.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more shots going to a head could definitely be a round win. T-side looking extremely strong for One Trick. 6 rounds so far on Nuke. Finding a lot of different plays coming in so far. Change of pace. Many good rounds from One Trick.
Yeah, 6 rounds having lost pistol. So Shake is opping in the outside position. Picks up 1 early and then collats the 2 players when he gets flashed from red box. That is just absolute disaster from One Trick. Before you're even really to develop the map control you wanted to get, just trying to clean the Opera out of one position, force him back down into the halls of B site, you get collatted and you're down 3-man. That's just so savage. Savage, why don't you tell me how you feel about it?
See, One Trick actually hasn't been taking much outside control so far, and pretty much every time they found themselves in a really bad position. Actually, even the round that we saw that one-way smoke with the CZ player, that could have been, if that guy had an AK, that would have been a devastating round for One Trick. Yeah, he would have gotten a 3K. So every round that they're establishing outside, it seems like they seem to be missing something. So something about their game plan, they either need to throw, another smoke, another Molotov, another flashbang, clear out a couple more angles, because moving outside has not been the best scenario for them. Intact seems to be really strong. They seem to have really good control when they move toward the A site, especially when they're moving at a faster pace. Intact's utility usage seems to be coming out later than earlier, and we'll see if One Trick can kind of recognize that pattern in their play.
Yeah, there's not much you can say. I mean, maybe your timing for the second player peeking from red box should be a little bit more spread out so you can't be collatted, especially because they knew the op was there. They had heard the previous shot. So a little bit of a misplay or miscommunication. Or
the op did get flashed in their defense.
Well, yeah, but they didn't wait for the bullet either.
Sure.
So there's a couple things there that I think they were a little too confident, and they really just got punished for it. Did he save the rifle? Sorry, I was too busy talking about
collateral damage,
man.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
But full rifles coming out for One Trick. They're not going to be lacking any utility, even though Intact did take the last round. 6-6. Closing out a couple more rounds would give them a very favorable T half. Right now it seems to be the 9-6. It seems to be about the average we see on Nuke these days for T side.
Look at Shake starting in and out around the smokes with the AWP. That is confidence coming from this man. He has more support slowly moving in now, and that shift walk is not going to work out for Gabagool. Spotted by Swan trying to cross to red box. And Optimus switching up his positions, trying to push his luck in the man advantage situation. Gets 1. Does increase his team's odds a little bit, but Sergeant Hash is able to just freely walk into the site. That's bomb dropped. Little missed close shot, but the second one is good for Shake. 2 great rounds coming out from him. Highlight for me is him just jumping around the smokes. Like, you see him push really aggressive towards that outside red box smoke, and he missed the shot, but, I mean, One Trick Ponies were all of a sudden scrambling just to try and refrag him, and him just dancing among the smokes outside cost them the round because they had One Trick Ponies had no control outside, even though they had 3 players right there.
The push through hut was a big deal as well for Intact. Gave them so much information, finding 1, almost 2 kills with the M4. Now pushes One Trick Ponies back on to pistols, and now looks like Intact is in a favorable position to pick up 8 rounds. And perhaps momentum for a 9th as well. We'll move into ramp room as fast pistols push in, trying to find any CTs, and looks like B is actually relatively open for these players on the T side.
Yeah. Now that they have the ramp control, though, they have slowed down a little bit. Bomb is just kind of languishing in radio room, back out towards lobby. So I'm kind of wondering
the back out,
the complete back out. All players, nobody down ramp, but Optimus once again getting aggressive in the hut. He hasn't been punished for doing this really so far. He knows the player is down vents as well, and he's going to be able to easily clean up Sergeant Hash as well. Optimus just dancing around the hut here, getting so much done. But that's one too many. That's one too many tries. He's literally just running in and out of the hut for the entire round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, though. The hut play has been so interesting from the two teams. And you actually get this a lot in Pugs, too, where it's just two players basically just want to take control of hut, one on CT and one on T. And that's happening every round right now for these two teams. Everybody just wanting to take control of that hut, which is so much information if you actually have control of hut, because it limits your take of A site so much as a T side player.
Great shot from Swan, spotting Sergeant Hash before the smoke goes down. Looked like it was going to be a fast vent play, but so far only one player has managed to make it down there. And is he the one? Yeah, this guy. Bomb has gone down vents. And Gabagool is now going to go back up towards Secret. Interesting. Probably going to try and shoot somebody in the back of the head from outside. But he needs to do it quickly. Red Killer actually turns and gets timing by Turismo. That's really unfortunate. And this is one of those situations you were talking about earlier where you're not going to win the round, but you should try and get some kills.
No, because it's the last round.
Oh.
9-6.
It's not.
For Intact. Pulling out the last 3 rounds, that's going to be huge for them. Like I said, seems to be about the scoreline that we see on Nuke these days. 9-6 for the CTs.
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought One Trick Ponies was doing really good, but I think that they really only have a shock value T side so far that we saw, where they were getting some mix-up and some aggression that was catching Intact off guard. But like right there, I wasn't really impressed by what had happened. It looked like they were using a lot of utility to just kind of get down vents, and they just got absolutely massacred. Like trying to do that early in the round when there's all the CT utility coming out, everybody's looking at those spots. When you have guns on a T, it feels a little irresponsible. As an eco play, I understand it, but not so much as a gun round. Speaking of gun rounds, the guns in this round are pistols, and One Trick looking almost certain to close this one out.
Only one T-side player left for Intact. He is going to make a little bit of an impact. Fast headshot onto Life Crusher. But Shake, a little bit of a star, I think, so far for his team. Picking up a lot of impact frags early in rounds, especially with the AWP. See if he can find 3 more.
His task is much harder for the fact that he does not have control of the bomb. The CTs are content to sit in their spots and hide. And Shake hasn't tried to go for a long rotate anywhere either, so it's going to come down to just him coming out of spots they're watching and trying to win the aim duels, which is going to be happening momentarily. I believe first contact will come from the player in rafters. No, that player is watching outside. Very interesting setup from One Trick here. I think he's going to see the gun. Whew. Not in time, not fast enough. Red Killer will seal the deal for One Trick. That is a pistol round from them. You know, we said before the end of last match that we like close ones, and if One Trick convert the following rounds, we're at 9-9.
See if Intact can pull it back with the fast scout by Deagles and CZs as well. What we're used to seeing, but look at this. A full SMG spread, only one rifle with the FAMAS for One Trick.
It's a little bold.
Definitely. Especially with the angles that you have to hold with armored players, but...
Well, I mean, okay, here's the madness of it. A CZ can literally kill somebody faster than an MP9.
Yeah, for sure.
And with the headshot body shot, that is not quite lethal with an MP9. And like Deeg armor, oh yeah. Speaking of Deeg armor,
yeah, like there it is. First headshot for Noxio, beautiful angle.
Gabagool's Gabagone.
See if he can find one more. Looks like he's looking for anything outside. He won't find anything. Hash will be his next point of contact if he chooses to peek from heaven, but looks like the T's are just going to have their way with outside, so they can pretty much split anywhere from here. And this is one of those scenarios like we talked in the last match where it's like you take mid. Right now, you can pretty much go anywhere, and you need to make a decision as the terrorists. You know you're against the SMGs and rifles. See what they choose to call. They're going to go for, looks like a heaven boost. Or not boost, rather just a push. You can just walk up there now.
Well, Sergeant Hash is absolutely ready for this. He was able to find the first and the second. The bomb actually, I think, flew off way in the back there. Noxio coming in, has a second kill in the round with his deagle, but does get shut down. And it is all up to Shake, who can do not much with that scout. So the patience from One Trick does pay off there. I don't know. That was an interesting call to go having that. It seemed like they still had a little bit of time. They might have been able to go backwards down ramp towards B or something like that, but I don't know.
It's a tough call.
It's a tough call.
Very tough call.
It was an eco round, too.
Yeah.
So.
Now full Glocks. Should be a very easy pickup for 1TP, but we will see what Intact chooses to do. Looks like we'll be all moving toward ramp. The SMG is definitely good to pick up the unarmored players of Intact. Should be a nice little eco boost.
Yeah, there's an interesting dichotomy between if you buy all SMGs, then you probably have a lot of money to buy rifles on round 4 of each half. But if you buy rifles early, then you don't have to rebuy them because your teammates can save them if you die. So, well, how have the Glocks done this? Managing to kill an SMG player with no answer other than just a little bit of damage.
And the control is really interesting from Intact here. You see them pushing all the way back through outside. They have so much information. But let's see. Observing this map is so difficult, by the way, guys. Looks like a lot of players have rotated down to B. One player pushing into hut.
I have no idea
and Turismo,
where the Glocks are right
this
now.
Is huge for them. Look at this. If they take Sergeant Hash, he's actually going to find 2 quick ones to make that 3. But 1 versus 2, that could have been a much better round for Intact, but Sergeant Hash really making easy work with this.
And, I mean, good work on Sergeant Hash to clean up that round, but that was, I mean, for Glock players, Glock no armor players to kill 3 people who have SMGs, that is insane.
But they are going to have the money for the rebuys because of those SMGs.
And, but they lose their armor, they lose the kits they had, and more importantly, I mean, those players didn't get kills as well. And they were probably going to have to buy rifles, but 3 SMGs on the gun round against AKs.
Yeah, look at that. Lots of utility for Intact. They're going to use it early, take a little bit of control of outside, see what they have to work with. Noxio looks like he heard that CT player, but he looks away. Sergeant Hash, MP9. This is going to be an amazing push for them. Get so much intel, but actually they lose the trades. Only 1 player left alive for One Trick. Looked like they had a lot of control. If they would have hit the shots, looks like they would have taken it.
I mean, I feel like they were still hitting shots. It's just good from Intact to recover and get some trades. Once again, the firepower probably let Intact get away with a couple more of those. That mean player on 4 HP, player on 20 HP. If you're hitting them with a rifle instead of an SMG, they're probably dead.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where those decisions come in, and we see rifles bought up from
at least a couple.
From One
They
Trick
have the money for it.
Oh, there's the ump throw. Okay, so
yeah, actually only 1 UMP.
A solid buy, not an amazing buy. Lacking in the utility.
It's the buy that you want to make right now. I think in the scenario that they were in. You don't want to save in the scenario that they were in. You have enough to buy this many rifles. You might as well try to squeak out 1 more round. But a fast play from Intact down secret is going to push them into the B site with not much competition.
They do hear the footsteps on the fence. They should know he's there. An entry is tried to make by an op, though, which allows Sergeant Hash to pick up 2 before he goes down. That molly in vents is going to be so lethal. You think Optimus has to get players that are coming up out of vents, but he doesn't. Leaving Turismo somehow alone. That was so strange. A flurry of blows happening around the vents area, and One Trick coming out on top.
Really thought that a lot of those angles favored the Intact players, but the change of pace, One Trick adjusting perfectly, forcing players to make bad decisions and bad movement calls. Turismo is able to recover the bomb, but surely he won't be able to find much in the round. Try to take a couple of guns away. We've talked about this a couple of times. Looks like he's going to be able to find 1. Doesn't matter that he's lit. Fast headshot onto Life Crusher as he finds him in the squeaky area. And now maybe he'll be able to get bombed down. He's not too contested, but he is going to push back down through vents instead of going for the A site. He's going to find himself HawpT in the face.
Okay. I see what you're doing there. Yeah, I feel like Optimus Prime should be an opper. You know?
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, if your name is Dennis, you're statistically more likely to become a dentist. And I feel like he should be an opper.
Especially with how in Utah we drop our T's with our accents, so we say dentist.
Dennis, no matter if you're a dentist or your name is Dennis. Ooh! Sergeant Hash!
2 quick headshots with the AK is answered on by a CZ, but that was a pretty lineup and some pretty range coming out there from a man. Shake pockets 8K, finds 2 quick bullets onto the head, and Optimus with another one. Game of cat and mouse. Just back and forth, leaving low HP, but 2 players, man advantage on Intact, and I'm not sure that Life Crusher knows where these players are. Shake going down. And Optimus just holding, not wanting to commit. But now that we know where Life Crusher is, we should see a bomb go down on A site. Will be a fake. Optimus thinking that Crusher has gotten into vents very quickly. Now convinced he's safe to plant, does so. This basically comes down to just angles and timing, and to who's going to get the better. Because it doesn't matter that he has 14 HP. If he has an advantage in positioning, the AK just wins.
Yeah, and actually see if he can hear him. It looked like he thought he was coming from heaven for a second.
Oh.
And now
he turned away.
He turns away. The timing doesn't favor him. Life Crusher sneaking up. Nope. Easy for him. Finds the angle and the defuse. He has the kit. Plenty of time left. If he didn't have a kit, would have been very tight. Good timing from him on the round. One Trick Pony finds their 11th round in the on the CT side. This is going to be troublesome for Intact.
I think 1v1s on Nuke probably have to be some of the most RNG-based clutches in the world, especially when you just have the bomb go down and it's not like you're pressed for time. It's like a full reset, right? So it's a 1v1, then the bomb goes down. It's like each player could be anywhere. You have no idea.
Even if they're running a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
You hear a footstep and you're like, I don't know necessarily where that meant that player was. So this is going to be an eco round. Intact made good work with the pistols on the last one. This time, however, I mean, well, they're going to be continuing that strategy, and there's an AWP outside. Not F1 enough, Turismo. Not grand enough. Is your race car peak with that, CZ? Cleaning up another eco round. One Trick Ponies seem content to just grind out CT rounds, and that is going to take them to a victory unless Intact can find something to do on T side.
Here's a very true gun round. Full utility for Intact, full utility for 1TP. See what Intact chooses to go with. No timeout from them. I would have expected at this point a timeout. They are a couple rounds short, but Swan, a fast AWP pick toward ramp, is going to put them at an advantage, and now is the time to capitalize if you're on the T side. Looks like most of the players are going to be moving toward the A site, trying to take control of HawpT and Squeaky.
Interesting that you don't press ramp anymore after getting an opening pick like that. You don't really force the map control. I mean, there's a minute and 22 seconds left, but Intact finding all of the entries so far in this round. Wow. Not even needing to use time to their advantage, just finding all of the kills. Unfortunately for Shake, not quite anticipating somebody could be in secret there. But yeah, this is just a change of pace from Intact, and finding 3 for 3 on entries definitely helps as well.
Entries were huge for Intact, for sure. The positioning of the player on top of HawpT for 1TP was really interesting. He didn't make any moves until Noxio was basically all the way out of Squeaky and in the middle of A site. If he would have been positioned right over Squeaky, I don't think that the T-side players even checked that. Life Crusher able to find a little bit of a silver lining, saving the AWP and killing 2 Intact players. That's going to make their money significantly worse. I mean, look at this. This is actually kind of devastating for Intact. If 1TP is able, or if they choose to buy a couple of CZs and everything. Actually, no players from Intact are forced back onto a Galil. I thought that they would, but Swan choosing to use a no utility AK instead.
Fair enough. If you're going to be making faster plays like you did in that last round and just going for those duels, then you don't exactly need to have a wealth of nades to play the long game. Is that an AWP pushing it through HawpT? Do my eyes deceive me?
It is. It is. See what he can find. I went to him for a second here, but Optimus holding the angle.
See, here's the thing is people so often shift walk through lobby because they don't want you to know they're there, which means this AWP is just going to have a heyday. Gets the pick, falls back, easy for Gabagool. Now they have no idea where he's playing. Behind the boxes. A little bit. I'm really surprised Sergeant Hash was not able to spray that. Life pressure is chiming in, but Optimus is just unstoppable at this point in time. Swan has an excellent angle towards Secret, makes the spray happen. 3v1. Bomb has yet to go down still in the lobby. The last player on the Secret side has it found and will get traded because they have surrounded him, and he is out of options.
Intact bringing back a couple of rounds. Back and forth blows. We love this.
Yeah.
This is the Counter-Strike that we're looking for.
I asked
Not
for
looking
it.
for any 16 threes. This is going to be a timeout for 1TP. Going to be a tactical pause. What do you think that they say in this scenario? Tell me what their IGL is saying to them. Read his mind.
Well, number one, they're thinking about their economy. You can see a couple players can purchase rifles, maybe two. The rest will have to go something lighter, which means that, okay, so we see pistols coming out. So they are going to do a quasi-buy, try and be able to have a proper gun round next time. So then the IGL is trying to come up with a play. The lack of utility so far suggests that it is probably something inside of the map. Outside, you're going to want to see flashbangs to go over the top of those boxes as the T's push up, so you can swarm them with your pistols. The one smoke and kit is kind of interesting, because that kind of defeats the purpose of like having an aggressive pistol round. Is like you're probably not planning on defusing, but either way, we do see, looks like a 3-man stack towards ramp, the pistols.
Smoke lineups here for Intact. Looking like they're going to execute onto the A site.
See, this would be so lethal, but Intact just not in the area. Just content to take their outside control and execute split onto A through Mini and HawpT. Rather, they are wrapping outside as they have done in previous rounds. This hasn't really worked out for them in the past. They are against pistols, though. And there are no players in heaven, so that is going to be free this time. Free real estate up on high.
Intact opting to take it slow. Looks like they're going to try to take heaven. Force these players into bad positions with pistols. Really good positioning for Intact on the pistols versus rifles. Taking heaven in a slow manner like that is actually really solid because the only close angles that you really have to play once you've taken outside is actually push up to heaven. And once you're up there, the players that are on pistols on A side are going to have a really huge disadvantage against AKs. But as I say that, they find a couple of quick kills. Noxio's on 3 HP. And Turismo is going to get timinged here. But the shots are missed by Sergeant Hash. And he opts to just run out, save what he has left. If he was able to find that kill, it could have gotten really dangerous for Intact.
Oh, that was almost a horror movie right there. Just, I mean, you know, it's like we're omnipotent, but we just have to watch poor Turismo just get mowed down in the back of the head. Luckily for him, just slipped around the corner and the CZ goes racing by. But yeah, so 13 for Intact, 3-round comeback here. After really not having much success in the T half, finally managing to win some rounds, 2-gun rounds and an eco. But this will be the true test again. Double AWP setup coming out this time for 1-2. What do you think about that?
Very interesting. We'll be interested to see where they put it. And they actually drop one. They're kind of throwing it around, it looks like. Perhaps trying to find different angles. But they had 2 AWPs. They drop one for a rifle. One pushes. Trying to find a little bit of aggression.
Well, we saw Intact having massive success with an op lurking in secret. Let's see if Gabagool can duplicate that success in his own way. Intact looks like they have gotten a lot of outside control again. You see them moving towards Decon. They're going to be able to jump up into heaven once again, and Life Crusher just has to swing his camera wildly because he does have Sergeant Hash helping him from Kyo.
Outside take again for Intact. Into the heaven. See what they do. That's a great flash onto Hash. He was flashed. Is able to pick up Turismo, but Noxio trades him out. And now Life Crusher is put in a very awkward position. Optimus isn't going to expect him here. Great off angle for him. See if he can swing to heaven. He needs to pick up one more. There it is. That's going to probably secure the round for 1TP. Amazing play for Life Crusher. Great presence of mind, recognizing where the Ts are going to be coming from. Picking up the spray downs, and that is the CT play you want to see on Nuke.
Yeah, Intact, it just seemed like they really didn't want to commit to executing. They get the opening pick towards Rafters, or the trade, and then they slow it down, and you end up with, was it Optimus getting, like, shift walking in through Hut there? And
yeah,
Yeah, it's just really interesting that they didn't want to really collapse on the site and make them feel a lot of pressure. Although, hold the phone. Swan's going to get the plant. The crossfire coming in from the AK is good. He's good for 2. He's good for 3. Shake clutches the hell out of that round. Going nuclear. 1 pick from Swan, the bomb plant, and then the cross from Shake. That was phenomenal to watch. What a play coming out from those two. They had no right to win that round.
What was that pre-fire on the AWP? Gets the guy on the shit angle. I don't even know what people call that anymore. I just like the shit angle. That's what it's the worst place that people play. I hate people that play there. You should never play there, guys. It's the angle you shouldn't play.
This sounds like it's coming from a place of salt. Anyway,
it is.
Swan,
it's pure salt.
Swan has 2 opting out on the T side this time. Once again, one-trick ponies are on pistols. This round is going to be game point. Shake cleaning up. 2 kills for him against these pistols. Just whew. Okay, I need to calm down. I'm still way too hyped up from that insane.
That was ridiculous,
2v4.
Man. Okay. The push out of Hut, the trade needed to happen though.
Yeah.
The trade really needed to happen from 1TP. 2 players pushing out of Hut really needed to trade the player, but they were too concerned with the bomb going down.
Yeah.
The round, if they would have gotten the bomb planter, the round would have gone in their favor. However, without that being the case, round swinging for Intact, and so much momentum on their side will carry them to a 15th round. And now, One Trick Pony forced back onto their last leg. As much eco as they can buy. The rifles, 1 FAMAS coming out. Will it be enough? A-site control looks like it will be the name of the game for Intact. Moving through the Hut position.
They've been playing so many players outside on almost every round of this game. I don't think One Trick will expect as many people inside as have just come in, and Turismo is just sealing the deal here. 2 entry headshots onto the A site. Bomb goes down. Shake lurking outside chimes in as well. There's already a player disconnected from the server, and that will be GG. Intact looking grim at 10-12. Oh, we are in the dark here.
Well, I'm not going to transition until you go turn on that light. We're just going to watch. We're just going to watch.
Okay, hold on 2 seconds.
Yeah, we're just going to watch Intact and the beautiful Nuke server with our thing. Hold on. There it is. Oh, there's the auto adjust. All right. It looks like Kevin is going to be, or HawpT is going to be basked in the sun. He has his cape of suns. I'll be fine. I'm a little red right now, though, but you know,
our light bounce.
Is what it is.
I really do.
It is what it is.
It's okay. It's really weird thinking about, because this is my desktop computer. Like, I game here, so putting like some white, like setting up lights, like studio lighting and behind it is just
that'd be a little weird.
Well, I kind of want to do it at some point, but it's like it is a little strange because it's like, is this my studio or my recreation space? But yeah, either way.
So let's talk about the CT setups.
Back to the game.
Let's talk about the CT setups for 1TP.
What a hype closeout.
One of the things that really fell through the cracks for 1TP was the crossfires, especially on A site. Looked like Intact was able to take advantage of their lack of crosses over and over again. They were able to push out of Squeaky and Hut at the same time, catching players off guard a lot of the times in the back. And that is something that is very, very difficult as a CT player to hold as A side on Nuke. You have to establish where each player is going to be playing, especially when you're playing from heaven.
Yeah.
Because they have such limited movement from that position, it's very important to establish where your ground players are versus where your heaven players are able to crossfire from.
Yeah, there are a lot of one-and-done spots that people play on A-site Nuke, right? At least heaven you can back off. But if you're playing on like the left side of Raptors or from Keo or Hut, like there's nowhere for you to go.
Right.
You're fighting until you're dead or they're dead, you know. And yeah, so their crossfires there on some of those gun rounds just a little too weak to close out that CT half for them. It really looked like they had the momentum to do it. I think everything we saw after that 2v4 retake was not really CS anymore. I really do feel like 1TP just that was mentally for them just it. Like they couldn't do it after that.
Yeah, that was a very difficult round to lose. I mean, seriously, your timings, and this is very important for just any retake, any scenario where you're working with teammates. If the communication was there from the player that was pushing through vents and the two players that were pushing through hut, you wouldn't have seen that scenario unfold. I mean, literally, it's like a 1 to 2 step type of thing. If the CT player doesn't have enough time, I mean, seriously, it's like boom, boom for your flick. It's like if you don't have just that amount of time, if the communication is just a quarter second faster, you're going to win that round instead of lose it.
Yeah, and then that last round there, Turismo hit some great entries, but Intact had completely changed up their setup to do 4-man on the inside with Shake lurking outside. I think that really caught one trick off guard as well. They were not ready for that kind of aggression. Shake gets a free kill lurking outside. And that's an easy way to close it out. That's a great job on the boys to fight back from being down 10-12 to winning 16-13, 16-12.
Yeah, something like that. So 16-12, I think. But we'll move into the next game. I'm not sure exactly what it is. What map? Let's take a look here. And is it another Nuke map?
They vote.
Oh.
They ban in Maine.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually love that.
Yeah.
That's so much better.
So really interesting choice for teams in Maine to go to Nuke. That's actually very surprising too. That neither of the teams were comfortable banning it, and eventually it fell through.
Are we even going to see Dust this season?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, 100%. I'm sure that there are teams in Maine that probably have a history of playing the old Dust and probably enjoy the reboot because functionally it's similar. They haven't changed the core components of the map. You know?
Yeah.
So even though some of the angles are different, some of the boxes have moved around, the textures, everything like that, you know, like little changes here and there, it's not drastically different. But this version of Nuke, I feel like, is quite different from the one we initially saw in CS. Like, for instance, Hut is so different now.
So different.
The window, removing that window is now, Hut is now a game between, is there somebody, like, you know, just outside of the Hut, playing, is there somebody on top of the hut, and then the heaven position.
Not a lot of trade angles for hut either in comparison to where you used to be able to play.
Yeah.
Like the T side used to be able to experiment a lot. The CT side used to be able to experiment a lot with window positioning, who you're going to push through at certain timings, where your utility is coming from. Yeah. That's the other thing is there's a lot of utility gameplay changes.
Well, keep in mind how mad this is previously a player by Squeaky or Vents could look through the window in hut, see heaven, and if somebody walked through mini, they'd be able to see them too. So you could have one player that can kind of watch and trade for anything that happens on the site.
Exactly.
Right? So now playing that position is way less powerful because you don't have access to shoot those players straight through the window. It'll be so much harder for you to trade the people. The T's will get control of the site before you can do anything. It's just a completely different ball game. And that is like a massive change. That's almost equivalent to me as them like getting rid of the gap from CT spawn and like dust doors.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of changes going both ways on Nuke. A very interesting map. So we know that Cache is a very strong map. We know that Nuke is a strong map.
They look comfortable, and obviously the fact that they didn't ban it means that they're ready to go. We saw smoke lineups and stuff and flash lineups.
Oh yeah.
Cache
especially.
Yeah.
Cache especially.
Yeah.
Looked really strong.
So those are some key markers for, you know, just basic gameplay elements you need to have to be good on a map. Utility uses on T side, having executes that you can rely on and use.
Some positive notes. Intact looked really good on T side and CT side. They had a couple of, trade problems, but overall things were looking really strong. For One Trick, especially on their CT side, they looked like they were establishing good crosses, especially on their B sites. The A site, again, like it's all about setting up your Heaven players, and that I think was probably their biggest weakness. But everything else, their outside control was really good on CT side.
Did Intact plant the bomb at B ever?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they even planted it one time at B.
So that is kind of also telling. And I mean, I don't know if anybody in main puts in the energy to scout people. But that's something they could definitely add to their game. They did get, I think they tried to go down secret once or twice and just got punished. But it seemed like when they had outside control, they were just like, well, let's just slow it down, wrap Heaven, and see what happens.
That's kind of the play that they chose to make, and the Heaven control is really strong. So we'll see what we move into as we move into the third and fourth maps, and after that point, we will start power matching. But it looks like we are, I think we're scheduled for Tuesday.
Wednesday at 10 p.m. EST.
Yeah, so 10 p.m. EST on Wednesday. I think that I got the note that they were trying to reschedule for Tuesday, though.
Okay.
On the next map. So
we'll keep you posted. Speaking of which, our Twitter handles are both on the screen. So
hit us up.
Yeah. If you're
follow us.
If you're new to Hearing Us Cast, please follow us. If you want us to get more out there, then give us a retweet whenever I tweet for our matches going live. I'll try and let you know same day or day before.
Yeah. Also, if you are looking to have your matches casted in your league, whether it be ESEA, CEVO, FACEIT, anything like that, please let us know. Send us a DM on Twitter, and we will get back to you.
All right. Thanks, guys.